Well, Harry searched the school top to bottom, through hell and back, and still no sign of Cheryl. Unfortunately, that note from the alley was our only clue to go on. With no more leads, Harry decides that finding someone else in town to confer with would probably be the best course of action. That church bell just went off a few minutes ago, and someone had to be ringing that, so we might as well head to the church and see if we can find another human being. In addition to the sound design, which I talked about in the last part, Silent Hill is also very good at manipulating your feelings through its visuals. And I don't just mean the disturbing imagery featured around the world, I'm talking about its use of the fog world and the other world. When you first arrive in Silent Hill, the fog world seems like a nightmare. It's impossible to see where you're going, it's snowing, it's freezing, there's monsters everywhere, the place is deserted, roads and structures just fall off into an abyss. But just when you think things can't get any worse, the other world tends to kick in, just to prove you wrong. The other world's oppressive darkness and overabundance of monsters makes what were originally dangerous areas into deadly nightmares, and after spending so long there, when you eventually return to the fog world, you feel a strange sense of relief and safety, despite the fact that you were terrified of this place at first. But that's because, much like the rest of life, Silent Hill is all about perspective. Yeah, the fog world's bad, but at least you can sort of see where you're going, and the monsters aren't as strong and numerous as they are in the other worlds. If we want to get to the church, we'll have to cut through a house like we did before. This particular house belongs to Kay Gordon, one of the teachers we saw on the list at Midwich. Luckily for us, that girl from the boiler room left the key for his house. Don't get too excited about the interior though, as it's essentially a copy-paste job of the last house we saw on Levin Street. It's around this time in the game when I usually start noticing the collectible items scattered around the world. I'm sure they exist in the first part of the game, but I never seem to come across any of them. But once we leave Midwich, there seems to be a lot more ammo and health replenishing items scattered about the streets.
Were you ringing that bell?
I've been expecting you. It was foretold by gyromancy.
What are you talking about?
I knew you'd come. You want the girl, right?
The girl? You're talking about Cheryl.
I see everything.
You know something? Tell me.
Stay back. Nothing is to be gained from floundering about at random. You must follow the path. The path of the hermit concealed by Flauros.
What? What are you talking about?
Here, the Flauros, a cage of peace. It can break through the walls of darkness and counteract the wrath of the underworld. These will help you. Make haste to the hospital before it's too late.
Wait! Don't go yet!
We found a Flauros. Not quite sure what this strange pyramid-like device is, but we might as well hold on to it for now. Right next to it is a key for the Drawbridge, so we can get to the central part of Silent Hill. The paintings in this church, along with the names of many of the Order's gods and deities, do sort of line up with real-world Christianity, but make no mistake, the Order of Samael is a much different beast entirely. There really isn't much we can do here for the moment. All the doors are locked. We'll have to head back out into the streets. But we do have the key to the Drawbridge now, so that's where we'll be heading next. Oh, hold up, what's this? The door of this garage is propped open. Some oil cans are on the shelf, but there doesn't seem to be anything else of note in here. What an odd room to make. It has completely original models and textures that are only used here, and yet there doesn't seem to be a purpose to it. There's a single pack of handgun bullets and a save point. The handgun bullets could have obviously just been left out in the street, and there was a save point at the church we just left a minute ago. So I'm unsure as to why this room even exists. Like I mentioned earlier, be sure to explore the town a bit more thoroughly now, and you can find plenty of extra supplies. For some reason, you have to turn your flashlight on manually here. It won't turn on its own like it does in other dark areas. There's a rock drill. There's no gasoline. Can't use it. Now, on your first playthrough, you might be moderately confused by this, and spend an inordinate amount of time attempting to find some sort of gasoline to power the drill. It clearly is an item that you can collect somehow, but without going too far into it at the moment, I'll just tell you that there's absolutely no way to collect the rock drill right now. It's not something you need to concern yourself with. There's a keyhole on the control panel. The game is weirdly random about when keys have to be used from your inventory and when they're consumed automatically. This is one of the former cases. As far as I know, there's no reason to not press the switch. I'm not even sure why you're given the option. These stairways on the side of the drawbridge are also a good place to check for supplies. Even if there's not always something there. Looks like Alchemilla Hospital is to the south. I don't know if we should trust that crazy old lady Dahlia, but we don't really have much of a choice at the moment. You can see that there's a police station next to us as well. Had you somehow missed the shotgun earlier in the Midwich bathroom, you could also pick up the shotgun in there. As I already have it, there's no real reason for me to go inside right now. Oh, I'm going to pretend I didn't see that. Well, here we are. This little courtyard doesn't hold anything of significance, just two groaners that'll attack you from off screen, so try and be prepared.
Time